Hey guys, and welcome back to another live stream. I'll I'm just checking if everything is up and working, which I'm pretty sure it is. Alright. Yes, I guess it's working. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure that we are live and everything is working correctly. So in this video, actually not video, this stream, I'm gonna be trying I'm going to try to get started on creating a project that I wanted to make for quite a while now. So I'm going to try to make a portfolio, more specifically a stock portfolio tracking website. Now I'll explain what it is that I mean, because it is kind of vague in just a minute or two. I just want to make one final check to see if my stream is up and working correctly. If it is, then we will kind of get started on the project. But I really want to check that because, as you probably would have seen, I actually haven't uploaded a lot, even though I did say I would, because I really just could not. Uh, so that's why. But I hope that everything is up and running, and I hope nothing like crashes or anything, because YouTube is telling me that my stream could be lagging, and I really don't want that to be the case. Come on. Alright. The problem is I actually haven't received an email saying that I actually have uh, the the fact that I have started to live stream, which is a little concerning. Alright, okay, finally. I got the thing that I am live now on my mail. So let me just check if the stream is up and running. I know it's taking me a little while, but it's better to be safe than be sorry. So I'll just check, move around my mouse a little bit, see if my cursor is, not lagging or anything. Because all of this is kind of important in a stream. Better to be safe than be sorry. So, okay. Check, move around my mouse. Okay, cool. So everything is working. Perfect. So let's get started now. So let me first tell you exactly what it is that I want to make. So really, the project that it is that I want to make is something that tracks every single investment you make regarding shares, stocks or anything. So basically, if you invest in any stock, we you can just see, you can just upload the name of that stock and the quantity, and nothing else. So basically what it will do is you will go ahead and it will basically get the current price of the stock, and then you can basically it will basically feed it into the database, and it will be stored right there. And then what you can do is you can view your portfolio, where you will see currently all the stocks that you're holding. You will also see the quantities. You'll see your profit and loss. You'll see your total investment, all of that stuff. And basically what you can also, you'll have an option of doing is you'll also have an option of downloading everything as like a PDF. So basically you can analyze it, and month over month you can see exactly how much you made or lost, uh, through your investments. So this is definitely something that I think a person would be interested in if they are in the share markets. Now I know what you would say. A lot of websites do already offer that. More other than that, if you use some sort of an online brokerage, then you probably have a good amount of that functionality already in your within your reach. But it is really just an extra bit of you know sophistication in like a platform that was specially designed for this purpose. So this is definitely something that someone who is really interested and someone who really makes a lot of investments could use. So I do think that this project does have a pretty good use case. So let's just get started. So I'm just gonna cd to my directory where I'm gonna be creating this project. Make a directory, port portfolio, actually not portfolio, stock portfolio tracking website. I also probably should rename my stream to something a little more specific like that, but we'll deal with that later on. So I'm gonna create a main.py, and since I'm gonna be doing this in the form of a website, we will be using Flask. But I mean, if you want to do this by yourself, you can use anything else. You could maybe just use like Django, React, whatever. And for the database, I'm not gonna be creating like my own like SQL database. No, I really don't want to deal with anything like that. I will just be dealing with a very simple Firebase database. Since I just don't want to be concerned with all of the SQL stuff. So let me just open this up in Visual Studio Code and we can get started. Actually, to be honest, I want to get done with some more stuff. Basically, I want to get done with my directory structure and basic file creation before we actually get started with the project. So we have that. Alright, so this is kind of the directory structure that we are gonna have. We're gonna have all of our main.py and stuff over here, templates over here. There's a good chance I will also have a static directory for like any static media like images and stuff, but currently I don't have that, so we'll see. Alright, so now I can just open this up in Visual Studio Code and we can get started programming. So alright, so first off we can just get some very basic stuff in place, just get a web server up and running. So to be honest, doing that is relatively very, actually it's very basic. So we can just say from Flask import Flask, and we're also gonna need a render template, and then we can just do app is equals to Flask underscore name underscore, and then we can just say if underscore name is equals to underscore main app dot run. And since I don't wanna rerun the entire app, we will set debug to true, and that's really all you need to do. And obviously you need to create a page, so that's what we will do now. So we can just do define home, and for now let's not return any render templates, let's just return some simple text in a h1. Hello. So we can then just do an app.root, and just do a slash there. Alright, perfect. So that's it. That is all we need to do to just get a basic app up and running. So now what I'm gonna do is I can just do a python 3 main.py, and this should take a second since I am streaming right now. I have some relatively heavyweight software running, which is my recording software, so that's why. So now if we just open up a new tab and we copy paste this localhost link, we do get hello showing up. Perfect. So that's pretty neat. So now we can actually get started programming. So as you can see, I have a base.html file over here. Now the base file is really where I'm going to be putting in all of the HTML code that I want in all of my other HTML files. So all of my other HTML files will just extend from my base HTML file. And since I'm using Flask, this stuff is possible. So yeah, so basically I can just open up base.html. Now I actually never remembered the boilerplate code for this. So what I always like to do is I actually wrote it out once and I just uploaded it to GitHub. And I really just like copy pasting my code, since it's a great way to kind of learn. So I can just open up GitHub. Now it should take a second or two, but I will just go ahead and copy paste whatever it is that I want. So over here I can just find for a repository. So the repository that we want in this case is, I actually have a Wikipedia website, a Wikipedia style website. What was that then? Let me remember. I do have a note app. Yeah, the notes app. So this app, it was made with Flask, and I did use the entire base.html kind of directory structure that I was talking about. So that's the so all of the boilerplate code for base.html I can just use by copying it from here. So I can just go over to the templates, and as you can see I have two files, the base.html and index.html. First off, you just want to go ahead and copy paste the base.html file. So you can just go ahead and copy this boilerplate code. This will basically always remain the same. I will tell you some things that you could change if you want. However, I would probably just keep it however it is. So the first thing that I will change is this thing. So because I've actually added a link for style.css in case if I have any styles. But since I don't, I can just get rid of this. However, I won't, because I'm pretty sure that I will have some global styles. But to be honest, for now, I'm just gonna comment it out. Maybe in the future we'll see. Alright. So other than that, I don't think I need to get rid of anything else. A couple of things that you should know is that this boilerplate code does add Bootstrap. So if you don't want Bootstrap, get rid of the link and the script tag. So yeah. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to make a homepage.html file. Perfect. Now this homepage.html file will have all the properties of the base.html file and some more. So for that, you can just go ahead and copy paste the boilerplate code from the index.html file. As you can see, there is a little bit of copy pasting in this. And this is the line that basically does the entire import stuff, the property stuff, this first line. So we can just extend it from base.html, and then now you won't be getting any fancy code completion, a lot of it, since what you are writing isn't typical HTML. It's like it's a form of HTML. So you probably won't be getting a whole lot of auto completion or a whole lot of like error checks or anything like that when you write this. So then we can just write an end block over here. Perfect. So now we can get started. So now we'll have to do one last thing, which is I'll have to link the homepage.html file to my homepage. So we can just return a render template, which will be the homepage.html, and that's really all I need to do, I'm pretty sure. Alright, we have some kind of a syntax error. That sucks, but it is what it is. That is a relatively simple error. something that we can easily solve, so that's not too big of a deal. I've just not put like a, yeah, so I did not add the modulus sign over there. Okay, so now I get nodes showing up. Obviously that's not what I want. So we can just say stock portfolio tracker. Awesome. So now let's just add some stuff to the body. So we can just add like a h1 uh, portfolio tracker. So now as you can see, the uh, text font family is a little different, and the reason is because of the fact that we did add Bootstrap to the app. So now let's just code out a very basic front end, just a simple thing to a simple like a login form kind of thing. And then we'll get started on some very important stuff, which is actually linking Firebase with this. Now that's gonna be something hopefully not too difficult. Now luckily I have actually made a couple of projects off camera that did do the same thing. Now I obviously those projects are projects that I'm currently still working on and stuff, so I probably won't be able to show you the code for them, but they are projects that I will kind of refer to. Obviously, in that case, I'll have my face cam on, so you guys won't be able to really see what it is that I'm copy pasting. But once I would have modified all of the code correctly, then I'll kind of show you all of that code. So yeah, but all of that aside, let's just code out a very basic kind of a login form. I just want some bare bones functionality, and that's really where Bootstrap comes into help, because it actually gives you all everything to create this kind of a form. So you can just go ahead and search for Bootstrap, and you really don't need anything else. I really don't understand how to write CSS and stuff, so I never write my own CSS. So I always just prefer using something like this. However, if you are good at it, I would definitely recommend that you write your own styling stuff. So over here, we can just search for something. So I'm just gonna search for like text fee form, kind of a form. So that's really what I want. A form, maybe. I don't exactly know where it is, but as you can see, so this is they basically give you these good looking fields, text fields and stuff. So you have like your labels and stuff, and then you have this bigger form. So this is kind of what we'll need, obviously not too crazy. Yeah, so this is kind of like the form that we'll need. So we can just go ahead and copy this to the clipboard, and we'll paste this in a little while later. I'll just do some very basic stuff to the heading, just center it and stuff, and then we can get started. Now I know I'm really getting ahead of myself, but I am quite excited for this project, so that's why. So I'm just gonna add a center tag over here, and we can just add the h1 over there, and that should center the heading. Alright, so now we're going to have to copy this again, and now we can just paste that, but we will have to change a little bit of stuff. So for the actual radio buttons, that's not something that I want, so I will have to basically get rid of everything over here. I'll have to get rid of this stuff, and I also don't really care about the checkbox, so we can get rid of that. And If we reload the page, as you can see, it works. So that is pretty neat. Now it does autofill it, but that's really because of like my machine. It's not something that will happen otherwise. And the best thing about this is the fact that it is going to be responsive. Not too responsive, but pretty good. Like it should work well on like a phone. A few things that I think I could do is something like change this. So as you can see now, this kind of just uh, makes it a little, changes the color. If I make this something like warning, this will become yellow in color. There we go, as you can see now it's yellow. But I really just like the primary button. If you like anything else, you can just search for button in Bootstrap and you'll get a whole bunch of buttons. All you have to do is just change the class. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And as you can see, they actually did say please include an @ in the email address. So there is a little bit of control, which is pretty good. So over here, the first thing we need to do is add a method to the form, which is a post request, which means that when a person submits a form, we wanna send a post request. Now this will actually throw you an error because we are not allowing any post requests to be sent. So we have to do this, and I will also need a couple of more imports now, which is these ones. I don't exactly remember them, but we'll see. Alright, so currently what this means is that the methods that our home page can handle is a get request and a post request. Now this is pretty important because what this means is that when we submit a form, the request type that is being sent isn't something that is unknown. Alright, so now that we have looked at all of this, we need to go ahead and actually make it so that we can actually receive data from the form. And the way we do it is relatively basic. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go over to this input field and we need to give it a name. So I'm just gonna call it email INP. And for now, let's just call it email INP and let's give this guy a name. So name is equals to password INP. So you have to give them names because if you don't, then they actually won't show up. So then we can just say print request dot form. So I'm guessing if test@test.com request is not defined. Oh yeah, I'll have to import it. So if I'll have to import request. So basically what this does is it allows me to get all of the stuff that was in the request that was sent. Request is not defined. What do you mean? Oh, I'm guessing I'll have an error over here. Request. What was it? Again, let's look at previously written code. I have actually not worked with Flask for quite a while at this point. I've been doing a lot of neural nets these days. Oh, and it is request on form. And I do need to check if it is a post request because I don't want to print anything out if it is a get request. I really don't care. And it is request dot form. So that's something a little weird. But I just hope that it works. I don't want this. Please work. So if I reload the page and we confirm the form resubmission, request is notified. Wow. Am I not spelling it correctly, or is it something else? Maybe I'll have to actually rerun the entire app. Okay, I guess it worked now. Perfect, it worked. So if everything worked and it did not work correctly, because if it would have worked correctly, then I actually would have returned some data. Test at test. Oh, perfect. That worked. Yay. So as you can see, we get an immutable dictionary, but I don't really care about the format right now. But as you can see, I get an email INP saying test@test.com and a password INP saying test password. Now this is huge for me because now I have the data and now I can do anything that I want with this data. So ideally in this case what I want to do is I want to take this data and I want to upload it to a database, and I also want to check if this specific uh, ID, I mean this email address or this password was taken. Actually not password, just the email address was taken. So what we can do is we can just save this in a variable called the web page. So now we can access individual elements of the web page. So we can get the email address. It is the string of the web page of the email INP. And I'll also have to do one more thing, and you will just see that this is something that you have to do later on. Actually, to be honest, I don't think I'll need it, so I'm just not gonna do that. So password is equal to string web page, and we can get the test password INP. So then if I print out the email address and we print out the password, I should just get the email address and the password and not any of the other stuff that I was printing initially, like the immutable dictionary and stuff. Okay, test and test.com. Alright, where is the thing that I wanted? Test. Where is the thing that I wanted? 1 minute. Oh, I guess it's just reloading yet. Okay, test that. There you go. There it is. The reason it took us some time is because it was really just reloading. So our changes had not been reflected in the website that we have yet. So now we have the password and the email address all done. Perfect. Awesome, right? So now we need to go and do the real backend functionality. So that's what we're gonna do now. Now for this we're gonna use Firebase. Now I will go ahead and I will actually go ahead and enable my webcam right now, because there's a very good chance that when I actually start my Firebase you will be seeing a little bit of my confidential information, and since I don't want that, just start my webcam and let's make it really big. So actually, to be honest, I don't really need to do that. I'm gonna try to do this. Yeah, perfect. Alright, as you can see, I am right here. Okay, so I'm just gonna open up Firebase real quick. I really just don't want you guys to see like my email address and my password and stuff for my email address. So yeah, this should take a second. Alright. Okay, this is taking a while to load. Really, because the Firebase homepage is kind of bulky because it has a lot of animations and stuff, which is pretty bad for me. Alright. It's taking just a second. Alright, I'm pretty sure I actually don't even have any projects remaining, so that is gonna be a little bit of a problem. Okay. Also, let me just check my streaming over here. See if we have maybe any chats or anything in there yet. Okay, we don't have anyone over here, but that's okay. Okay. Can I please create a new project? I just hope I can. And project name, stock portfolio tracker. Continue. Okay, cool. I guess I can show you my display now. Perfect. So Google Analytics for your Firebase project. You wanna enable Google Analytics. Believe me, this stuff, even if you just breeze through all of this stuff, it's not really gonna be a problem. Just select default account for Firebase and click on create project. This should take a second or two, but it takes a little while to set stuff up. So as you can see, the name of the project is Stock Portfolio Tracker. Luckily, I was just 2 projects away from the maximum limit, which is pretty neat because yeah. Alright, we are almost done. Now, the reason why I'm not using any SQL database for this, and the reason why I'm using something like Firebase, is pretty simple really. It's just the fact that if I'm using Firebase, I actually don't have to deal with like really like SQL queries and stuff, and I seriously do not know how SQL works. I know I probably should learn all of that stuff, but I really don't want to do that right now. So I just want to kind of get this project done. So for now, I really just want to deal with like the backend side, but not like the database side of things. Now, as you can see over here, we have a lot of options. We have iOS, Android, Web, Unity, Flutter, but there's still a bit of a problem with this entire thing, which is the fact that there is no Python, and that's really the main issue. Now, luckily, again, I actually did have a project where I had linked Firebase to like my project, and that was the crypto buddy thing, which I think I made last year. So if you have been following along this channel, you probably know what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna go over to my repositories, and I'm pretty sure I had uploaded that to GitHub. I hope I had, because if I have not, then I'll probably have to look at some of my private repositories. So that's why. Okay, so which one? Crypto. Okay, I guess I don't have that. Well, that sucks. But that's okay because I kind of have a good idea of how to do that. So the first thing you really want to do is you obviously want to go ahead and get the configurations for your projects. So you want to get like your API key and stuff. So I don't know if I want to share this stuff with you, but you know what, I'll go ahead and do that, but I will just go ahead and disable like the project. But for now, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe later on I will, but for now, I won't. So just go over to the web So just select web, and you just want to register it as whatever it is that you want: stock, portfolio, tracker. Set up Firebase hosting for this app. uh, I'm not gonna be hosting it through Firebase, most probably. So but I'm still gonna check that. So just then you just want to click on register app. Takes a second or two, but not more than that. Now the reason why we clicked web really is because, well, we are creating a website. Now we don't need to add the Firebase SDK, and we also don't need to use a script tag, since we are going to be using Python. And Firebase actually does have like a Python thing. So now if you go ahead and just click on the web thing and just click on like the settings for your project for the web, you should see that you will have a Firebase config. It's gonna be like this dictionary containing all of the important information for your project. So the API key, the auth domain, the project ID, the storage bucket, the messaging sender ID, app ID, and the measurement ID. So you're gonna have all of these things. So you wanna keep all of these things private. In a production grade application, you are gonna want to keep these things private. You really do not want to share any of this stuff with anyone. That's because this is the only thing that protects your database from hackers, really. I mean, if someone really wants to hack in, maybe they'll find out some other ways. But basically, this database allows anyone, this specific information allows anyone to get access to your database. So it is very important that if you are a production grade application, especially one that has sensitive user information, like maybe their phone numbers, their addresses, maybe some passwords, maybe if then you have to keep all of this private. Do not share even one of these things, because even if you share one of these things, it will be uh, there's a very very high chance that someone could just gain access to all of the information on your database. So yeah, I know I don't really mean to scare anyone or anything like that, but this is really just something that we should be cautious with now, because otherwise, it's no preventing anyone. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at one of my private GitHub repositories, uh, wherein I have actually written the code for actually linking up Firebase and Python. So I'm just gonna do that really. Okay, so here I have it. Oh, okay. So the first thing that you need is you need this a JSON file. Now I don't know what exactly I have in this JSON file. Let me see. Basically, you have this Firebase generated JSON file. I don't know exactly how to get that, so probably gonna have to Google it anyway again. Okay, so basically in your JSON file, you are really just gonna have a little more of your private information. So let's see how to actually get that. I'm just gonna do some basic googling now. So just go here, link Firebase with Python. Let's perform authentication. Yeah, so this is kind of what we want. How to set up a Firebase real-time database. That's not exactly what I want to do, but create. We need the following lines of code: CRUD object, database URL. Yeah, so Firebase will allow access to Firebase server APIs from Google service accounts. To authenticate the service account, we require a private key in JSON format. Okay, so we need to go to the project settings and then get that. So now we again go on to the selfie camera, because so just go click on the settings, go to the project settings, and then what should you do? Okay, next we need the database URL, simply the URL that gives reference. Okay, okay, but where is, okay, they actually did not go over that. Oh, okay, so I need to actually look at a separate link in order to see how that works. Well, that kind of, okay. Once you have created a Firebase project, you can initialize the SDK with Google application. Okay, so in Python, you install the Firebase admin package with just a pip install command. We'll go into that in just some time. Okay, so we need the Google OAuth 2 refresh token. So that's exactly what we want. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and open that up. Once I am done with this, I will kind of show you the steps of how to do this. Now I know it kind of sucks that I can't show you all of this stuff, but this is something that does have sensitive information, and I really don't want to share it, because even though like 99.9% of you won't really do anything with it, I really just don't want to take any. So okay, visit the Google API console to obtain the OAuth 2 credentials such as the client ID and the client secret. So those are the two things that we don't have right now. Like we have the API key and stuff, but to actually gain access through Python, you need the client ID and the client secret, and that's on Google Cloud Platform. So you're gonna have to visit that, sign in maybe. Luckily, I already have done all of that previously, so I really just need to select my project and just get this. Now, usually this is a little bit of a complicated process if you're doing this for the first time, and so this might take you a couple of minutes to maybe get set up or stuff. But once that's done, it's a relatively straightforward process. Okay. Again, I know I am showing you my selfie camera for quite some time at this point, but that's really the only option that I have, because I can't exactly show you all of the sensitive information. Okay, cool. So now I have to visit, pretty sure I have to visit credentials or OAuth consent. Pretty sure I have to visit credentials. So initially we will be in the enabled APIs and services. But actually before that I'll actually to select the project, since I might just be dealing with some other project. Okay, where is my project? Why can't I find it? I can see, like, I do see that I have a project selected, but I just don't know which one. And I obviously don't want to link up the incorrect projects, because that's gonna screw up a whole lot of stuff. And for some reason the website is extremely laggy, and since all of my other websites are pretty important, there we go. Select a project. So we select a project, and come on, why is it lagging so much? I really hate it when it, why is it lagging so much? It really shouldn't. There it is.